whole weekend, the energy has been literally off of the charts. Our Schumann had the longest spikes of white that we have had for the whole year. We slipped straight into these gamma frequencies. So there's going to be a lot of perceptions that are going to be opened up. There's going to be a lot of downloads. There's going to be kind of like system overload. If you haven't already been experiencing that, especially if you're sensitive to energies, sometimes this has you laying down like you're just out for the next couple of days. And then maybe in a couple of hours, you're just so re-energized and you have a whole new project that you're doing and you're just focusing on a whole bunch of stuff because the energy is just so much. Let me know if that was you. Now, can the charts go off like that if there's people or animals walking around it? Yes. Do you think they walked around it the whole fucking day? No. Do you think the weather has something to do with it though? Because that can also switch the sensors, creating a large amplitude effect around them, especially during that time. But I mean, it was just kind of drizzling that day. So I don't think that was the case in this aspect. I think it was I feel like this was a natural occurrence of light that came in. I feel like they're giving me the message that this was intended for this specific time because we're going through a huge switch. This is like the forefront effect for what is to come later in the year, which makes sense to me. I never question what they say, so we're just going to go with it. But yeah, it completely knocked me off my ass and also energized me at the same exact time. So late in the afternoon, we are going to have our first quarter moon before it goes void and then enters into Leo energy. Go Leo. So this is going to want to push us to make decisions or make action. But nobody likes to be pressured, so don't be super pressured to do anything that you don't want to do. We also have Mercury and Chiron working together today, so it's going to bring about a lot of new perspectives today, mainly about either yourself or situations that are surrounding you, somewhere that you have a lot of worry and a lot of concern in. So you're going to see things through new levels of awareness because we have shifted. I don't know if you know, go watch the rest of my videos in the past. But yeah, we have had a massive shift, and these new perspectives and levels of awareness are going to show us exactly what we need to work on, whether yet again within ourselves or a situation. But this is going to help change the course of where we want to go in the future and how we're going to move forward from here. Yet again, it's going to pressure us to take some action today. Do we necessarily need to take action? No, it's not like you got to do it or you don't. That's not how it works. It's more of, is that the path that is intended for you? And is it the smoothest path? You really have to take a step back and observe a little bit more before you take and leap into some big action, because we have Leo energy coming up and that's just going to make us want to do it anyway. Drop a comment if you're a Leo. We're also getting some light from our sun now. We have our new region that used to be 3615. Now it is newly numbered and we get to see what exactly it looks like, and it's huge. And it's not the most complex region. It's just very, very large. However, it's brand new on our eastern side of the sun. So as it continues its path off of the western limb, then we'll be able to finally see if it is going to change its components, if it is going to become very explosive, because there's a lot of potential in these regions, and I'll show you. We have 10 sunspot regions on our sun today. We are only going to look at 3 of them. The 3 that we are going to look at today, 3634 right up here. This is actually the most complex region that we have, and we're getting quite a bit of light from this region. We're also going to take a look at what 3639 up here looks like, and also what 3637, 3638 looks like. Because we are getting quite a bit of light. We have had numerous C-class flares and several M-class flares. Already today, we had an M1.7 that sent us into a minor R1 radio blackout from 3639. And that seems to be the major culprit of all of these solar flares. So let's take a look at these regions. This is region 3634. Now, this one is producing these M-class flares. It is giving us quite a bit of light. It has went up in the number of sunspots and a little bit in size. It's still in beta range, although we have a lot of potential to gain a little bit more magnetic complexity, but we're kind of staying stagnant right here. Now, our major focus is going to be maybe this area right here, and if we get a little bit more of those components kind of set in this area. But we do have a 30% chance of having more M-class flares from this region, 70% chance of seeing more C-class flares, which we will be seeing. Now, this is the region that is heading off of the limb of the sun in the next couple of days, but we're still going to monitor it. And notice the X-class flare percentage. Some of these regions do have a 5% chance of having an X-class flare, which means that we are gaining more potential in those regions. Now this is 3639. This is giving us the most light in all of these regions. It is at the top corner of our sun, and we are seeing a lot of potential with this one. We do have a percentage of having an X-class flare, 20% for an M-class flare, and we are getting numerous C-class flares from this region. It is new. We have a lot of time to play and to observe and watch this region. In this region right here, 36, 37, or 38, depending on how you're going to look at it. But this is that large region that we were seeing on the far side imagery. Now, it has went down in size as it has turned a little bit more. Now, we do have a 5% chance of having an X-class flare from here. I don't think it's going to happen. 25% for an M-class and a 65% for a C-class. Now, do I see any of that happening? I see C-class happening. I see potentials for M-class, especially right here, this tiny region here. And as it turns more onto the sun and it kind of envelops upon itself, it will change its formation. So we have yet again a long time with this region to see what it will potentially envelop between these magnetic complexities. But yet again, more regions to look out for. Other than that, we don't have too many super active regions, but we are getting light compared to what we had last week and what we're having now, complete day and night. Now, we do have two coronal holes. We have one over here that is numbered as 24. This will be numbered as 25 later in the day today. These are not Earth facing completely. They are kind of still off to the sides. However, this newer coronal hole will be a little bit more Earth facing in the next coming of days if it stays put. Now, this is next to some of our more active regions. So if we do have some larger solar flares, we can see some steady solar streamings from our winds coming in and affecting our ionosphere and causing geomagnetic storms, which we are supposed to get today. So we are supposed to reach those minor, let me say that again, those minor G1 geomagnetic storm levels today from a CME that left late on the 12th and other solar stream influences such as those filament eruptions. Now, we aren't going to get a full effect. This is actually going to be a very side swipe kind of glance if we're going to get anything. Because the chart that I was looking at actually dropped the whole geomagnetic storm aspect, except the other one is still up. So I'm kind of confused. I don't know. We're going to still say that this is still on course to give us a little bit more energy in the air today. So we're just going to look out for it, because we were supposed to have a geomagnetic storm today and then drop into tomorrow, but we don't seem to have that on this chart anymore, so I'm kind of confused. Yet again, we're just going to say that we're still going to be in KP4, KP5 levels to reach those active levels. I don't know. But anyway, we're expected to see an enhancement. There is going to be an enhancement within our solar wind. Now, this is the biggest news, a massive burst on our Schumann resonance, very high frequencies and long living. We dropped into our gamma ranges here. Yet again, you're going to open up and see some new perspectives, but this is also going to bring a lot of those ascension symptoms. Scattered brain, nausea, headaches, migraines, very sensitive to energies, blurry vision. You might just completely be knocked off your ass, and that's okay. Please hydrate, please meditate, please rest. If you feel like you need to take a nap, please take a nap. The day prior, we hit an amplitude of 77. Yesterday, we hit an amplitude of 96. Currently, we're at a 24, and our frequency is rising. This is ridiculous, guys. A massive amount of light for 2024 for our new reset. So I know if I'm feeling this, you guys are feeling this. And I know if I'm getting downloads, you guys are probably getting downloads. And the best way to anchor and counteract any of those ascension symptoms is to ground, is to hydrate, is to rest, and do self-care. Let me know how you feel. Love ya.